So for anybody who struggled with intonation on the flute, it can be really stressful. There's been times where I'm in ensemble and you're playing along and you maybe know that you're really flat in a soft passage or you're really sharp in a high loud passage, but there isn't the control to actually bring the pitch up or bring it down. And that can be really stressful. And also, it can be really stressful when you're playing and you're out of tune, but you really can't tell which direction you need to go. So then you're kind of like moving around the pitch a lot. And if the music's going by more quickly, or if you're playing like with anyone else, that can be really stressful too, because there isn't a lot of time to do all of that guesswork. So this is going to be a 4-video series where I'm going to show you exactly how to control the pitch on the instrument. So how to raise the pitch, how to lower the pitch, depending on like register and dynamic, stuff like that. And also how to train your ears so that you can actually tell faster whether you're sharp or flat, so that then you can make an adjustment that is much more likely to be in the right direction. First, it would be helpful to go over what exactly intonation is and what it means to play in tune. So playing in tune really is about playing the correct pitch in relation to other pitches, okay? We use A440 as a standard in North America to tune to, but that does not mean that every note you play should be at A440. We use a harmonic series to determine where the pitches are going to be. And in a really simple sense, that just means that notes are going to ring in tune with one another when they're in alignment with the harmonic series. And that's not always going to be at A440. In fact, it doesn't matter. The A440 thing doesn't matter at all. It just depends on where your relative note is sitting. So for example, if someone plays a C and you need to play a G, you need to play a G exactly a perfect fifth above that C, wherever that C happens to be, and that would be considered playing in tune because it sounds in tune. If you think about it this way, an audience listening to you play, they're not listening with a tuner, they're just listening with their ears, and we can tell whether those notes are ringing in tune or whether they're sounding out of tune, and some people can obviously tell if they are sharp or flat. The flute is naturally quite flexible in pitch. So this is a really great thing because it means that we can be really flexible, but it also means that we have to learn how to train our ear so that we can use that flexibility to our advantage and make quick adjustments so that we're more able to play in tune. So just a few basic things to go over about the flute in general before we really dive into an exercise. So it's important to know that flutes naturally change pitch with the temperature. And this can be very inconvenient, but it is good to know which direction your intonation is going to go, depending on whether you're too hot or too cold. So when the flute's too cold, maybe you're like playing under an air conditioner or playing under a fan. God forbid you're playing outside. I mean, I know people do, but it can be difficult because the flute gets cold. It naturally goes a little bit flatter, okay? When the flute's really warm, lots of times it's like the end of a very long symphony and it's very hot on stage and everybody's very, very hot. The pitch can tend to rise, okay? So you just want to know right away if it's really cold or really hot. That's probably a consideration. Next, different notes on the flute have different tuning tendencies. And this is related not just to the flute in general, but also to different makes of flute. So different brands of flute are built with different scales, and all of the different scales come with little different tendencies here or there. And so it's important to understand your flute and know what your tendencies are on your flute so that you're able to control your flute better and understand which notes are going to need more or less adjusting. And then the last thing is that dynamics really impact the ability to play in tune. So dynamics are related to air speed and air direction. So when we're blowing really fast, really hard amounts of air, the pitch can tend to push sharp. And when we're blowing less air, sometimes that air can slow down, so it tends to go flat. So we're also going to talk about ways to control that. So your embouchure plays a huge role in controlling the pitch because your embouchure controls the direction of your air. So blowing more across the flute will raise the pitch, and blowing more into the flute will lower the pitch. So for this first exercise, we're going to do just the smallest hairpin on single notes, F major scale, the bottom octave only. Okay? And the idea is here that you're just trying to change that direction of air. So if you've never done this before, a great way to start understanding how to do this is just put your hand in front of your face, blow up at your fingertips, and bring that air so you feel it go all the way down your arm, and then all the way back up. And that's what you really want to be doing with your air as you play this. Okay, so the idea here, I'm not trying to make an amazing sound at this moment. I'm just trying to get this movement, okay? We want lips forward, but blowing across, and then blowing more into the flute as we move towards the center of that hairpin, and then bringing the lips forward again as you go to the end. Okay, so we're going to also do a really simple ear training exercise this week so that as the weeks progress, we'll hopefully be able to blend everything together and create a real difference in your ability to play in tune. So this week's exercise is very, very simple. I just have like a drone set up on my phone here, and I can put the link to the Spotify that I'm using underneath the video. Basically what you're going to do is start playing the drone, and then you're just going to match the pitch of the drone with your voice. Okay, so a few notes a day, that's all you want to do. Just practice hearing it and matching it. If that feels really easy for you, then you could also practice singing different intervals above that drone. So for example, maybe I'll try singing fifth. There's a fifth above that note, or maybe a third. Okay, the idea behind this is that we're starting to learn how to match the pitch or hear other pitches in reference to what we're hearing. So you don't have to go crazy, you don't have to do it for hours a day, just maybe between, I'd say like 3 and 5 minutes every day, listening to the pitches, practice either just matching your voice to the note that's already there, or maybe some of the easier to hear intervals to start getting into this how to train your ear. If you want to learn more about how to play in tune, we actually have a free community where you can join and have access to tons of content just like this that can really help you. The link to join that community is in the description below.